welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be the Booktube Newbie Tag. So if you're new here, my name is Mary. I do post 2 videos every single week on beauty and bookish content, and I thought it'd be fun to do the Booktube Newbie Tag. I haven't done it yet. I've only been making videos a month, a little over a month now. I think my first video went up on April 30th. But without further ado, I did find this on Reddit. I think there were originally 7 questions, but now there's about 10, so I'm going to answer all 10 that I found. But without further ado, let's just go ahead and get into it. I do have my laptop over here with notes. I might put it in my lap, actually. Yeah, that might be better. Okay, so question number 1, why did you start this channel? I started this channel because I wanted to, which is such a lame answer, but I've wanted to make YouTube videos for a really long time. When I was in high school, I wanted to make videos about hair. And now I sort of am in the makeup and books realm. I started this channel during quarantine. I wanted something to do with a lot of the free time that I was having once my finals ended and quarantine was still clearly going to go on. So I thought it'd be fun. I wanted to meet people who also like books. That's why I decided to ultimately go with a channel that features a lot of book content. I just thought it'd be fun to meet like-minded people, and I thought it was a good way to do it. Question 2, what are some fun and unique things that you can bring to Booktube? I'm not sure how fun it is, or really how unique, but I am in law school, so I thought it would be interesting to read crime books, and because I have a different perspective of like courtroom dramas and things like that. Also, I've been doing some videos, I've done 2 so far, but I'm in the middle of a 3rd one, where I've been reading books or a series of books and then watching TV shows or movies based on those books. I did Normal People by Sally Rooney, and then I also did Catch-22 by Joseph Heller, and both of those have Hulu original shows on them now. And I think I'm gonna do 11/22/63. I'm watching the show now with my partner, but I did read the book last month, so I thought I may as well. But I thought that would be fun and interesting. I don't know how many people will really care about it, but I like it. Question 3, what are you most excited for with this channel? I'm excited to meet people. Really, that's one of the main reasons I wanted to actually make a YouTube channel. So I felt like I could meet new people who like the same books as me or even like different books than me. Question 4 is, why do you love reading? I love reading because I love escaping into new worlds. I read for escapism. I also read to learn. I read a lot of memoirs, nonfiction type books because I like learning about other people's experiences, and I like learning new facts and new ways to deal with issues. I read a lot of self-help books, which is kind of weird, but I just think it's interesting to learn from reading. And I think you can learn from reading fantasy books, and you can learn like how to adapt to culture. I think reading is really important for children, especially fiction. It's because it teaches them empathy and how to see something and be like, wow, I've never lived this experience. Like, so many kids read Harry Potter, and, you know, American kids who are not British, kids who do not have magical powers and are not witches and wizards, and they don't go to a boarding school for witches and wizards, or probably a boarding school in general. But you're able to feel for those characters, whether or not your parents were killed by a dark wizard when you were an infant, you know? So I just think that's a really important part of reading, and I still read a lot of the time for that reason. So it's a combination of escapism and then also wanting to learn more. Question 5, what book or series got you into reading? For me, it was definitely Harry Potter. I think that's probably the same for a lot of people. There's just something about, it wasn't my first experience with reading, but it's definitely what made me want to read, if that makes sense. As a young adult, what made me want to read was hard-hitting contemporaries by John Green. So that's what I was really into when I was in high school. Sort of had a lull all through college where I didn't really read very much. And then when I was working full-time, I was like, well, I want to like read now because I don't have to do homework. I don't have to read for work. I just worked at an office job, and I decided to start reading again. And what really got me back into it was the Dark Materials series by Philip Pullman. So I had read The Golden Compass when I was in like 4th or 5th grade, I think. And then I never read the rest of the series, but I moved in with my partner and he has all of them. So now that we share a bookshelf, I borrowed the books from his collection, and I don't know, I just sort of tumbled back into loving to read. Question 6 is, what would you ask your favorite booktubers? I don't know. I don't know that I have any questions for any booktubers in particular. I think not just for my favorite booktubers or for booktube in general, but just for people, I think one of the most important questions to ask people is like, what books are important to you? Because I think you can learn a lot about a person from them saying, well, these books mean a lot to me. I guess that's the best answer I have for that one. Question 7 says, what challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? For me, I am a full-time law student, so I think the hardest thing to overcome will be keeping up with my filming and editing schedule, and also keeping up with reading. I know that if I could still do a booktube if I read like 2 books a month, like that's a thing that I could do. Right now I'm trying to read 12 books this month, so I'm trying to read a lot this summer and then see how much I can read come fall. But just because being a law student, I read close to 200 pages of like cases or textbooks a night. So adding on top of that, the other books that I'm going to be reading might be a lot. So that'll be interesting. I'm really nervous to see if I can keep up with the amount of reading. I know I can't probably read 12 books when I'm back in school full time, but hopefully I'll be able to read a good amount. Question 8 is, when did you start reading? I learned to read when I was 3. I'm genius. No, when I was little, my brother is like 2 years older than me. So I was constantly trying to compete with him and be just as good as he was because I was scared of being left behind, which hasn't really changed in my life. But I learned to read alongside him. I learned my ABCs alongside him. I'm sure it was very frustrating to be the older sibling to a child who was so demanding and wanted so much attention that she had to know everything at the same time that he did. But I learned to read when I was 3. I started really reading probably around kindergarten and 1st grade. I remember I would read the Harry Potter series, like tag along with my mom. So she started off reading them to me while I would go to bed. And then she would be like, well, I'm tired. And I'd be like, okay, well, I want to read more. So I would keep reading and she would fall asleep listening to me read Harry Potter. And that's sort of how that's like my first memory really of reading. Question 9 is, where do you read? Anywhere, pretty much. So when I'm at home, I will read in this chair sometimes. I sometimes read in bed, but I can tend to like drift off to sleep because I have to be comfortable but not too comfortable. And then sometimes I'll read on the couch in our living room. Question 10, the final question, is what kind of books do you like to read? Short answer is almost everything. There are certain things that I don't read very much of. I don't read very much high fantasy or adult fantasy. I don't read a lot of adult romance. And it's not that I don't like it. I just don't know. I just haven't really read any of it. That's something that I'm looking into reading more of. I'm reading more sci-fi right now. I found out I just finished 2001: A Space Odyssey. Spoiler alert. I am really into sci-fi, I think. And like that's like hard science fiction. Which I never thought would be something that I would like. But I do really like that. Typically my favorite books, or the books that I gravitate towards, are collections of short stories and essays, memoirs. The fantasy that I like is like YA or middle grade fantasy. I like thriller, horror, mystery type books. And I like adult contemporary. Oh, and I like YA romance. I forgot to mention that. So short answer, what kind of book do you like? Coming of age. But basically everything. So those are all the questions. I thought this would take longer than it did. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you can give it a thumbs up. If you are interested in seeing more about my thoughts on books, or if you want to support my channel, you can go ahead and subscribe. That would be awesome. Comment down below your favorite book that you've read. Actually, let's do this. Comment down below a book that if someone asked you, because I'm asking you, what book is important to you? Comment down below. What books are important to you? I would love to add them to my list of what to read. Thank you for sticking around for this video, and I will see you on Sunday. Bye.